Welcome to EdLeader with your host, Dr. Rob Jackson. Join Dr. Jackson for conversations and reflections on improving educational leadership from the classroom to the boardroom and beyond. Educational leadership is an ever-evolving opportunity to make a real and lasting difference in the lives of students, parents, and the community. And now, here's your host, Dr. Rob Jackson.
Hi, friends. Welcome to the EdLeader podcast. I'm your host, Rob Jackson, and I want to thank you for spending time with me today. Today's episode is dedicated to a special group of ed leaders, teachers. Teachers are educational leaders. Teachers are the backbone of the school and the school system. Without them, without their dedication and willingness to do whatever it takes, we would not be able to meet the needs of each and every one of our students. Our teachers would tell you that they could not do their job without every other member of our school teams. And I agree with them. I don't want to fail, though, to acknowledge all that they have done this year, and really every year, in growing as teachers and having to teach in new and different circumstances. They are remarkable. Speaking of remarkable, I'm so excited about today's conversation with an incredible ed leader, with a teacher, a remarkable teacher. Let's get to it. Our guest today is Mr. Christopher Murray, a sixth grade teacher at Broad Creek Middle School who also helps to coach the boys basketball team. Mr. Murray earned his bachelor's degree in middle grades education at East Carolina University. Mr. Murray actually teaches in the very same classrooms that he attended and learned in 20 years ago. He has dedicated his achievements as a teacher to his mother and father, who he says gave him a strong work ethic and determination that drives him daily. His mother's a retired teacher, and he says that he could not be more appreciative and blessed by his family. He's completely dedicated to teaching, and it shows. He strives continually to incorporate effective and efficient methods of teaching while focusing on the individual needs of each student, striving to help every student, whether he personally teaches them or not. He wants every student to get the greatest education they possibly can. He also says that he wants every student that he teaches to enjoy school. He strives to build a relationship with all students, ensuring that they're getting the help and assistance they need. Recently, Mr. Murray was selected as the recipient of the Rotary Excellence in Teaching Award. Please help me welcome today's guest, Mr. Christopher Murray. Mr. Murray, what an incredible opportunity and honor for me to spend some time with you today and to share your work that you're doing and the work of your colleagues with the listeners of EdLeader. Welcome, my friend.
Well, thank you. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. I had the amazing opportunity. I was invited by your principal to come out to the school, to Broad Creek Middle School, for a surprise announcement. And we gathered outside, and we were socially distant, following all the rules, but we gathered outside in the courtyard area of the school, and the entire sixth grade came out, and we were all standing, spread out in the courtyard, and the principal, Miss Weinhold, began an announcement, and she was sharing with the students what a blessing it is to have incredible teachers. And they were looking at her, they were agreeing with her, but they were being students in the middle of an announcement. They were somewhat blank expressions, and they were listening very politely, but just listening. And then she shared that she was about to announce that one of the teachers had received the Swansboro Rotary. Swansboro, for our listeners, is a small town in the next county over from Carteret County, where we serve. The Swansboro Rotary gives annually an Excellence in Teaching Award. One award for a teacher who has demonstrated those qualities. And Miss Weinhold is making this announcement, and she makes the announcement, and she shares your name. And as soon as she said, Mr. Murray, the children went from blank expressions to enthusiasm on turbo drive or something, because there was cheering, there was yelling, there were hands in the air, there was clapping. Tell me about that moment for you when Ms. Weinhold's making this announcement and then you hear your name and then you experience that student reaction. Tell me about that for you as you experienced it.
Alrighty. Well, thank you again for having me. It was a very unique experience, once in a lifetime experience. I've gotten like coaches awards before, but nothing like that. And I was really caught off guard because I was kind of like with the kids. I didn't know what we were out there, what the surprise was for. We knew Dr. Jackson was there, so we knew it was something big and something special. And I had no idea. I thought maybe we were recognizing the kids for their, resilience towards the year. And it was just, it was I got chills a little bit. And I'm kind of glad I kind of made a joke, where I kind of wiped my eye like I was going to wiping tears from my eye, but I actually did almost get emotional there as she was talking about it. And I tried to hold back, and I didn't want to stand up there and be a blubbery teacher and stuff. So I'm glad I was able to hold that together. It was just a really humbling and blessing experience. And I'm just, grateful that I can teach, and I love teaching, and I love the students, and I love the age that I'm with, and the staff that we have here is phenomenal, and the support from the community and parents and everybody around. It's been a blessing. And like I said, I went to school here at Broad Creek, so it's a lot different now that I'm teaching, where I used to be in the same desk, and I never went to the principal's office. Or we won't talk about that, but
there you go.
at least this time I'm getting recognized for something good. No, it's so it was just it was a huge surprise. And I even told her, I said, a lot of teachers here are very deserving of this award. And she started naming some of the stuff that we do in my class, because we like to have fun. I like to make sure the kids are having fun and are learning at the same time. But it's science, so there's always something engaging that we can do, even with this, the protocols and the 6 feet distancing and the mask and everything. We always make sure that the kids are engaged, but also enjoying while they're learning. So that's my.
Well, I tell you, Mr. Murray, so you mentioned feeling chills, and I want you to know you weren't the only one. I knew why I was there, why I had been invited. I knew the announcement that the principal was about to make, and I expected the students to be happy. But when I saw that response, I got chills. I just was so excited in the moment along with the students, because clearly relationships are everything when it comes to teaching. And in that moment, I saw the relationships that you've been able to develop as a teacher. And of course, then thinking about, we'll talk about more in just a few moments about teaching in the same place you went to school. But as I saw the fact that you have these relationships and that was being expressed by the students, I felt proud and I felt excited, and it just resonated within me. What do you do to engender those relationships? How have you been able to create those relationships?
I'm myself. I try to, I hold doors for kids. I show them the same respect and manners. I say yes, sir, no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, ma'am to every student I see in the hallway. What was really humbling and a good feeling was that, half of those students out in that courtyard, I don't even teach, the other science teacher teaches. So, when I see students in the hallway and they're like, hey, Mr. Murray, good morning, Mr. Murray, and like, fist bumping and, this cool, stuff that it's just, it's a good feeling that students that you don't even teach, want to, they want to, support you and make sure that who they recognize them, and that same thing. So it's a good feeling to have that relationship with bonds with students. I don't have the pleasure of teaching, but it's just we have great students here, and they all they love their teachers, and I'm glad they like me, because I tell my fiance every day, like, I love my job. I love coming to work. Every day is different. It's not like a tedious job. Like I enjoyed like making lessons and activities and fun things for the kids to do. So for the kids that were out there like screaming my name, it was kind of like, oh man, some of these kids, I felt bad because I didn't even know some of them by name, but I know them just by passing them in the hallway, or at least from the eyes up, or from what we can see with the mask and stuff. So it was just a really humbling experience and a privilege, blessing.
It was phenomenal, and I really appreciate that. You said something that I want to unpack for a moment. You talked about one, being authentic and being authentically you. As a student there in the building, I'm sure you had amazing teachers 20 years ago, but I don't think you could be successful if you were trying to be the teacher they were, or trying to be a teacher like a colleague. You have to be authentic to yourself. And I do believe that that's important for every teacher and every educator, to be authentic. But you also talked about showing respect to students. You teach in a middle school. If there's any age that a child may be a little tougher to show respect to, it's probably adolescents, and it's probably middle school.
Yes.
But you talked about showing respect to children and being authentic, and share with me, why is that so important to you, and where do you see the power in sharing respect and showing respect to students that one might expect them to show to you? We might expect they open the door for you and call you yes sir, but you're doing that for them. Why is that such a powerful practice?
I would have to say it's probably just the way I was raised. You know, I have a brother. We were both raised. You know, it doesn't matter who it is that you're passing by. You know, you're going to respect them, especially adults, family members, anybody. You know, even a person you may not like or care for or what have you, but you still need to show them respect. So I feel like even at this young age, that kids need to kind of be taught, or at least reminded. Maybe, you know, they're not treated with the best respect or manners outside of school and other places or areas. But they need to be shown that respect so they can feel comfortable while they're at school, not to where they're, you know, a burden or just a student or just another name or just another ID number. So having that relationship with the students has always been just, it's just kind of seems easy to me. So when I hear other students that I don't even really tell them to say yes or no, sir, yes, ma'am, no, you know, using their manners and stuff. It just sounds, it's a better feeling than a yeah or a what. You know, I have a 10-year-old at home and a 4-month-old, and you know, we try to practice manners at home too. So that's what I try to practice and instill in the students here. So, you know, they can be polite outside of school and in their community and stuff, because it's just a respect thing. So I like to give the kids the same respect that I give them. So no matter what age, it's just something kind of like a second nature for me.
Right. Well, and second nature for you, because you mentioned your parents taught you that, and you and your brother practiced that. And you and I both know, and our listeners know, that it's not necessarily second nature for every child, because every child, unfortunately, may not have the same home situation. And so modeling the behavior that will serve children well in the future is so very important. And teaching the behavior that we expect as a society is so very important. And so I just want to encourage you and reflect back to you what a powerful practice that is. Sometimes I've seen teachers struggle with that, almost coming in the door feeling like, you know, the student should be holding the door for them instead of them for the students, et cetera. And so it sounds like you just naturally fell into what is a powerful practice, which is just a respect for all persons,
Right.
Modeling that for students. And that's so very powerful.
Exactly.
This year, of course, has been incredibly challenging. You mentioned earlier getting to know the students visually from the eyes up, because you've been wearing these masks for a year now, and we're hopeful that one day we'll be able to throw those away and never think about them again.
Yeah.
As we've approached this challenging year, what's that been like for you as you first began to understand what the classroom situation would be like? Initially with the hybrid model with 2 different cohorts, one group of students on Mondays and Tuesdays, another group of students on Thursdays and Fridays, and then another group of students who are virtual completely. How did you approach that? How have you been successful with that? What's that been like for you?
It's been very unique, I would say, just dating back from last year. I think the way that the school year ended, I mean, it was just so abrupt. I think we kind of knew deep down, I knew personally deep down, that they were going to have to finally close the doors because the COVID case was getting so rampant and out of control. But the selfish side of me wanted to be in school with the kids. I knew I just personally, my teaching styles and strategies and preferences, I kind of struggled at the beginning to teach virtual, all virtual, especially having those kids and built that relationship. So it kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth having to end the year like that. Even though I still see the kids here around school, you know, we get along, we socialize, and I enjoy seeing like, hey, what's going on? Who's your science? You know, because it was just a not so good feeling at the end of the year, not being able to have the end of the year celebration with the students, sign yearbooks, you know, all the regular celebrations and traditions that that I've been used to and accustomed to with the students. So transitioning this year, I had a stronger mentality that I couldn't be selfish, and I knew what we were doing was right, and we had to abide by the rules and regulations and policies that were set forth with the A and B and the virtual. And it took, it took a little bit to get my head wrapped around about scheduling the assignments and how to go for it and planning lessons. Because after doing this for 8 years, I kind of know what I like to teach. I just kind of tweak it every year, modify it, according to what the students are, what their learning styles are. But it was completely different having to do lesson plans, Sunday night, and then Wednesday Google Meets, and then Thursday or Wednesday evening push out other lesson plans for cohort B. So it was very choppy. I think I was the word I used before. It was not the whole. I couldn't get a full week of lesson plans in, so it was so choppy. And I'm just used to like flowing with the work. And the kids know that I like structure, and we get through a lot of work in a short amount of time. So it was difficult and challenging, but I think it was, like I think I also told you, it was satisfying and rewarding at the same time. Just to understand that I could, and all the teachers, not just myself, but all the teachers could overcome those obstacles. Not just the students having to do it, but the teachers had to juggle so much with the kids that were learning at home virtually, and we had cohort A and B, and then we had kids that would be virtual and come cohort A, and then had kids that were cohort A going 4 days a week. So it was just like I felt like I was juggling all the time. I mean, I didn't know what days of the week kids would be here or not be here, being disenrolled and moved. I mean, it was just it was challenging to say the least, but I think it made all those teachers a lot stronger and a lot more adaptable to evolve. And I think Mrs. Weinhold, our principal, calls us Gumby sometimes because we're so flexible. And I think we all just had to really be flexible and patient this year, just to kind of go with whatever was set forth, because, we chose this job, this is what we're here to do, and the kids need us, so we couldn't back down and blame it on COVID, like we got to be, I think the kids, sometimes I look at the kids as like my heroes, and I think they kind of look at the teachers as their heroes. So I think we kind of need to reach each other to get through this year. So that would be my take.
There's no question. And that's the feeling I get when I walk through the building. And I just appreciate that so much, because there's a genuine acknowledgement, I think, between the teachers in needing the students to be there and wanting the students to be there, and the students needing the teachers to be there and wanting to be there. I think certainly one of the attributes that I've seen in you and your colleagues this year is also the attribute of courage, right? It was courageous for our teachers to step forward at the beginning of the year. Our school system was one of the first school systems in the state to bring students back face to face. In fact, we started the year with a hybrid model with our students in place 2 days a week. And we've been able to transition to 4 days a week now, which is just a blessing. But it took courage on the part of you and your colleagues. And you said, we can't be selfish. We have to take care of our students. And, I appreciate that at so many levels, because it seems like educators choose to go into this profession for the singular purpose of wanting to make a difference, for serving students. And when you talk about the things you do for students and not wanting to be selfish and being there for your kids and knowing how important it was, it just makes me feel so good. And I want to dig into that a second, if I can, Mr. Murray. So you are younger in the profession. You mentioned 8 years, and thank you for those 8 years. I hope we get 8 more with you. And so as we look around, we know that there are not as many people choosing education as a pathway today. And we know we need phenomenal teachers. you teach science, which is just so incredible for our students. As you think about it, what do young people who are trying to figure out what they want to know or what they want to do with their lives, what do they not know about teaching? What might you share with somebody who might have an inkling, maybe I want to be a teacher? What do you love about teaching? Why should somebody consider being a teacher?
That's a huge question. I'll try to keep it short and concise because every kid may show up here different every single day. You may not know their attitude, their feelings, or emotions towards school or you, but I think that's the creative and the interesting side of it. It's like the curiosity. Like I said, 8 years, 2 different grade levels, 2 different subjects, and I've never had one day that was completely the same. Even with the cohort A and B, teaching the same, similar things to cohort A and B. It wasn't the same day. I was teaching the same content the same week, but it was not the same day because it was different students. So that would be part of it. I would honestly say that I've had a lot of influential teachers in my lifetime growing up. I remember loving science one year and then not being as strong as it or not caring. I have much passion for it the next year. And then language arts, I've had some teachers that I just couldn't get. I couldn't understand their teaching style. So I kind of fell out of the love of, reading. So I think really teachers kind of really mold what students want to do, how much they want to read, what they want to learn about, what their interests are. I think teachers can really are good models for what students want to become. And I think it's like really humbling and rewarding to hear kids I've had this year that want to be science teachers or be teachers of any profession. They're like, Miss Murray, your job is so cool. Like, I know they're in 6th grade and they may change their mind 100 times between now and the summer. What do they want to do? They may want to be a YouTuber. They may want to be a podcaster. They may want to be a superintendent. Who knows?
That's right.
So, but that's like the gratifying thing that they're even questioning that what they want to do now. And the idea that they feel that, my job, my occupation is cool at this young age. I think it's something that they should be interested in and kind of understand. And every year I have kids that say, oh, Miss Murray, I want to be a math teacher. So, there's students out there, even at this young age, that wants to do it. Like I said, it's just satisfying. And I'm grateful to be a teacher. I feel like I had to work hard in the school and high school and college to do this, and I love what I do. And I think everybody should love what they do. They shouldn't do it for the check at the end of the month. I don't do it for that. I think kids realize what they want to do, and if they're not happy with it, they'll change one day. But
absolutely. Well, one of the things that's very apparent to me, you mentioned that you actually have this incredible blessing to teach in the same classrooms you learned in as a student, which I just think is absolutely amazing. And you mentioned the phenomenal teachers that you had. And at some point, as you were making a decision about how you would spend your life's work, the work that you would do, I'm sure you reflected on those teachers and you made this incredible decision to be a teacher. And so thank you for doing that. As I think about the response that you've kind of shared from your students who've said, what a cool job you have, et cetera, the response I witnessed in how excited they were for you when you were being acknowledged for being such a phenomenal teacher. I dare say that in 6th grade at Broad Creek Middle School, there are quite a few teachers to be in our future. We certainly hope in this school system or someplace else who are patterning themselves after you and the incredible example you set. Mr. Murray, I just want to thank you for what you do every single day and certainly want to thank your colleagues. I want to thank teachers everywhere who in the middle of a pandemic have said, here's a place, young men, young women, you can come to and feel cared and loved for, where you will be respected, where I will treat you in an authentic manner, and they respond to that. And boy, do they respond to that. Mr. Murray, thank you for earning this award, Excellence in Teaching. It's certainly well-deserved, and I want you to know how much I appreciate you and appreciate this time with you this afternoon to just spend time sharing with others what the amazing job you're doing for so many. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I hope that you enjoyed our time today with Mr. Murray. Clearly, as he shared, showing students authentic respect pays off in relationship building.
A relationship that was extremely evident to me as I watched students enthusiastically cheer for their teacher when he received an award. Relationships matter, and they matter every day. Speaking of relationships, thank you for spending time with me today, and thank you for all that you do for every student, every teacher, and every staff member. You are making a difference. If no one else has told you, I want you to know that I believe in you. Good day.
Thank you for listening to the EdLeader podcast. Please subscribe to the podcast and consider leaving a review with 5 stars on Apple Podcasts so that we may continue to grow the EdLeader community. We hope that you have enjoyed your time with Dr. Jackson. Until next time.